What's going on, folks? Hope you're having a wonderful night or day. Welcome back to the party and a happy new year. Today I wanted to talk about Chrono Odyssey again, talking specifically about the open world. I think it's no secret that Chrono Odyssey has a lot of similarities to New World. Some people have even called it a direct copy. I love to call it New World 2.0, New World but better, but it does have a lot of potential to go down the same route, make the same mistakes that New World made in its early stages. One of the things that I think was a big problem was the fact that the open world for New World wasn't fully utilized enough. It didn't have a lot of dynamic events. They hardly really did anything with the invasion system. I think even far after I stopped playing, the system relatively remained the same. When it came to the territory warfare, like the sieges, they pretty quickly lost their luster and even had a downgrade in the amount of people that could play in them at a certain point. I think it went down from 50v50 to 40v40. And when it comes to Outpost Rush being the only battleground we had for a long time, that's a different topic for a different video. This video is sponsored by ENEBA. ENEBA is a digital marketplace where you can buy a wide variety of gaming products like game video keys, gift cards, in-game points, and subscriptions. You have access to some of the hottest titles like Arc Raiders for $33.56 instead of $39.99. You've got the ability to purchase ones like Battlefield 6, or my favorite, of course, to mention very often, Mount & Blade Bannerlord 2 for a discounted price. As far as the gift cards go, you've also got access to the Xbox Game Pass, Steam gift cards, all kinds of discounts that you'll have access to, including upcoming games like the Age of Empires 4 Dynasty of the East. And this website doesn't just feature traditional gaming products, but you'll also have access to Amazon gift cards, Apple gift cards, Spotify and Netflix gift cards, and even mobile games. Thanks so much again to ENEBA for sponsoring this video, and now back to it. But when it comes to the open world of New World, they made a lot of mistakes and didn't really utilize one of the strongest things that they had going for it, which was the corruption. It was an entity very similar to the Void in Chrono Odyssey, where it's just this White Walker-ish kind of faction, just the very embodiment of death. We don't fully know where the Void comes from in Chrono Odyssey, but what we do know is that it's very present wherever we go. One thing I noticed in the playtest they had back in June was that there was a lot of potential to use the Void when it came to dynamic open world events. Now, anytime I talk about this, I always take a page out of Guild Wars 2 and Rift's book. Those games had amazing dynamic events. You had open world objectives that could turn into full-on open world boss fights. The Silver Waste is a great example, and I think that'd be something that'd be great to bring over to Chrono Odyssey as well. The fact that it's going to be more of a PvE based game instead of PvP means that there will need to be enough PvE experiences to keep players engaged. We did have the Void Nexus in the Chrono Odyssey playtest, which functioned very similarly to the corruption portals of New World, but to truly reach this game's potential and take things to the next level as far as dynamic events go, I think we're going to need much more than that. One of the things I remember talking about very early on in New World is how it would be great to see the corruption being utilized in a way where they can actually attack the different settlements around the map. In Chrono's case, we could see a dynamic event pop up where the Void will attack a city, and any players inside the city have a chance to escape or join the battle that's upcoming. There could be a big warning on the screen saying, hey, we're about to get attacked by the Void. You can either get out or get ready for battle. The main example I remember using when it came to this was the Battle of Ostagar for Dragon Age Origins. Still one of my favorite RPGs of all time, but I think that if we had the opportunity to jump into a dynamic event like that, maybe something that could last like an hour or something like that and had a lot of great rewards, that would be something to keep people engaged. Just waves after waves of Void enemies, both small and large, coming at us with a gigantic boss fight at the end to try to defend the settlement. And there could be bonuses or consequences for defending or not defending a settlement that will take place afterward, potentially even temporarily changing the landscape around the settlement. I know that's kind of a tall order, but I think that'd be something that'd be really cool, and then maybe we're required to get a big raid together to take the settlement back. Another thing they've already started utilizing is the open world bosses. The ones in Chrono Odyssey did seem pretty cool. However, they could also tie those into the objective-based dynamic events that I was talking about earlier. Maybe we need to escort supply caravans to a forward operating base to launch an assault on open world field bosses. Or even better, maybe we as players need to assist NPC armies that are fighting the Void in different parts of the map, all leading up to a world boss emerging, which we will then need to band together to take out. The NPC army thing is something I've wanted to see for a long time. I did hear that Mortal Online 2 might have incorporated something like that, but I haven't had a chance to come back and check out the game yet. But having NPC armies out in the open world where we have allied NPC armies fighting against enemy NPC armies, and then we as players can jump in to decide who we want to help, maybe if it's like maybe NPC factions, humanoids, or if we're helping like an ally NPC army fight the Void, I think that'd be something that'd be really awesome. There's a lot of other cool ideas they can pull from when it comes to dynamic events. One very popular one from Albion Online was was the Hell Gates. Since this game is going to be more focused on PvE and feature an open world flagging system, Hell Gates are a way that they could promote and reward players for doing PvP, and also this would be a great avenue to provide PvP players the experience they're looking for without taking too much away from the regular player. I think the most successful MMORPG experiences long term that I've ever seen are the ones that have a good balance between PvE and PvP. They don't force the two to clash, but they have enough on both sides to keep players occupied. Another thing they can do is have certain world bosses be PvP flags so players know going in what they're going to be up against. And not just PvE and PvP, but taking a page out of Where Winds Meet, we could also have social-based and life skill-based dynamic events as well. Chrono Odyssey is also pulling a lot of similarities from New World's life skilling system, which means that it does have one of the best life skilling systems that a lot of players have ever seen. They could have dynamic fishing events or competitions pop up. Maybe we have to mine a certain amount of ore for the mining guild masters and get experience towards the mining life skill. Maybe rare resources for crafting as well. Something related to crafting is another thing I haven't seen really when it comes to dynamic events, so maybe they can incorporate something there. But I think the open world in general is going to be very important for Chrono Odyssey's success. To kind of wrap things up, one of the things I noticed on that New World kind of made a mistake in is focusing too much on their expeditions or instance dungeons and not really giving a whole lot of love to the open world. In fact, they nerfed a lot of the open world experience. For example, it was at a point very viable to just farm on mobs in a party and get experience and gold that way. Around, I think, the beta, they decided to completely gut the amount of gold that you could get from mob kills. On the experience side, we did have a lot of players who like to farm mobs, but they kind of changed things where instead of the mobs giving each player the same amount of experience, it equally split, which is something that is normally found in most MMOs, but they didn't really provide an adjustment to when you're farming in parties, getting more experience, for example. It just kind of made it to where if you have 5 people, you were just wasting so much experience per kill. At that point, it was just easier to farm in parties of 1 to 2. I know there could have been arguments there for the amount of experience you were getting in a 5-man party being too overpowered, but I wonder if there's a way to balance it out to where like you do get experience split when you're in a party, but you also get bonuses to kind of level things out. I absolutely think in terms of gold gain, farming mobs should be a viable option. Not to mention Chrono Odyssey does have a system where if you farm on certain mobs repeatedly, you do have a chance to either, I think, get a special mini boss pop up, I think that's what it was, or to get some special items from farming them, but I'm pretty sure it's a special mini boss. But either way, being able to farm gold from them on top of that would be a very good idea in my opinion. But that's everything I wanted to talk about today for the open world part of Chrono Odyssey. I'll probably do a part 2 in the future after we've had the next playtest coming in early 2026. But for now, folks, let me know what you guys thought about this so far. Thanks again to ENEBA for the sponsorship of this video, and have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. Farewell.